Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in the Saw DLC for Dead by Daylight, going for the Adept Pig achievement. This is to get a merciless killer rating as the pig. This one's going to be done from the killer side. You're going to need the pig for this, so make sure you grab her from the DLC pack or from the in-game store. You also need to make sure you get her to a minimum of level 10 to open up 3 free perk slots. The perks you want to run and only run are going to be Hangman's Trick. Then you're going to want Surveillance, and then finally the third one is going to be Make Your Choice. Leave the fourth slot empty if you have that available, and you can do whatever you want for add-ons or offerings. Start up the game, and your goal is to get a Merciless Killer rating with this build. So thankfully the pig is not going to be too hard of a killer to learn how to play with. In fact, most of our gameplay is going to revolve around having good Dead by Daylight fundamentals. So just make sure you find your first survivor like normal, and then what you want to do is want to make sure you try to down them like normal. The only catch with the pig is the pig's ability is going to basically give her 4 reverse bear traps. So when you down someone, instead of bringing them to the hook right away, what you want to do is want to make sure you hold left trigger over their body to place one of these traps on them. And the way these traps are going to work basically is if someone has a trap on them currently and someone fixes a generator, what's going to happen is the person with the trap is going to have a timer placed on them. If this timer runs out and they haven't gotten the trap off yet, they're going to be eliminated from the game. That being said, since we are trying to go for the Merciless Killer rating, which is going to ask us to do more than just eliminate all of the survivors from the game, we need to actually do well in all 4 of the major killer statistic categories. You definitely do not want to kill the survivors using the traps, especially early on. The reason for that is you are going to need to have enough hits, downs, and hooks in order to get the Merciless Killer rating. But a counterpoint to that is the traps are going to be very useful as a pressure tool. Because the timer of the traps is such a looming threat, what's going to happen more likely than not is once you place a trap on a survivor, they're going to try to get it off right away in order to avoid dying. And that's basically going to involve them trying to remove it at one of the many jigsaw stations. So thankfully, you can use this to keep them off of generators, because if they are worried about trying to get the trap off, they are not going to be focused on trying to fix the generators. Also, what's going to happen is if they fail a skill check at one of these jigsaw stations, they are going to give you a little notification that they are on the jigsaw station, and more likely than not, someone who is at a jigsaw station is going to stay there until they finish up the QTE. So you can come in and quickly punish accordingly, and then hopefully you should be able to get some easy hooks like this. So if you see someone at a station, make sure you quickly run in, get a quick hit in, and a quick down if you can, and then make sure you bring them to the hook, which should further incentivize their teammates to get off the generators to come and rescue them. It's all going to be a game of keeping the survivors off of the generators using the pig. So thankfully this should buy you enough opportunities in order to get your hits, downs, and hooks in order to build up those points needed for those certain categories. Now, if you do notice someone who's going to be on the verge of dying from a reverse bear trap, do keep in mind you want to make sure you get the most out of this survivor before they die. So try your best to only have the reverse bear traps kill anyone who already has 2 hook states on them. That way, once the survivor outlives their usefulness, you can just have the reverse bear trap finish them off if that opportunity does present itself. So if you notice a survivor who you have already placed on the hook twice have a bear trap on them and they are about to pop, just make sure you leave them alone and have the bear trap finish them off instead of you wasting time trying to re-down them and bring them to a hook. That should also save you an extra hook on the map, which is going to be pretty useful. And then you can just quickly move on to the next survivor. When it comes to perks, there's only going to be one really useful one, which is the last one, which is going to be the Make Your Choice perk. The way this is going to work is if you have someone who's going to be on a hook and they're going to be pretty far away from you, if someone comes in to try to pull them off of the hook, what's going to happen is the rescuer is going to have the expose status put on them. So what that's going to do basically is it's going to allow you to down them in a single hit even if they are at full health. So that should obviously disincentivize you from camping, which you shouldn't be doing anyways, especially if you're going for the Merciless Killer rating. So hopefully these few tips help you out. Remember, the pig is going to be most effective with someone who has a pretty strong foundation in good Dead by Daylight fundamentals, so make sure you get those down first, and you should be able to get the most out of her. Do well in all 4 of the major killer categories, and you should be good for the result once you hit the result screen. There it is. You can check what you need to improve on by going to the next screen and hitting right bumper, and you can see the 4 killer categories and what you need to improve on. Once you manage that +2, you should be good for the Merciless Killer rating, the Adept, and the achievement. 20 gamer score for this one, and that's all there is to it.